Hello and good morning. How is everyone today? Got our video from last time. Um, I was productive this week. Good lord. um, Something just hit right, and I got that motivational bug to just keep going and doing things. So that worked out fantastic because I just was super busy. Um, it rained a ton, which is surprising that I continued to be busy during that. It's great. So, um, note just how dry this is, because that's going to change. Um, Also, I had been mentioning creating another path. I eventually do that, a little bit at least. Um, the rain does stop some of the projects, and so does the battery wear out. But you know, at least moving things around and getting things all cleaned up worked out really well. Um, so also notice this space. It's kind of interesting having a better view of what's changed going backwards just 1 week. So I think I'm going to stick on this. It'll help me be more active and be on more. I feel like 2 weeks is too long to be completely dead, and I don't have enough other projects to fill the interim. So, we'll get there. But I think from this week to the previous, I was just kind of really down on my productivity. I just hadn't had a lot of goals or plans for the space, and then I came up with some. So there's also the fallout of car things and issues I've been having. Also, Twitch was down yesterday, so I couldn't get this out yesterday like I normally do. But I'll try to stay on Wednesday. Wednesday is a good day for me to do that. Be out there, do the thing. So, another fun fact: this was here. Keep that in mind. Even though I covered it in mud and everything, and I was really proud of how well I had secured it, nature said, "Nah, that's okay." But we'll get there. So, um, let's see, what else? It's just like really active. Um, Creek's doing creek things. You can kind of see some froggos enjoying the extra water. They're lovely. Um, I've been dealing with wasps a lot lately. They have decided that there's a crack in my roof that they want to come in and visit, and all I want to do is just fill it with spiders so they cannot. But that finding how they're actually getting in has been a major issue, and I have no idea. So that's trouble, but hopefully not too much longer. I am reducing their population by a great deal every chance I get. So hard to say who's going to win that battle, but we'll get there. Um, in the woods here, it's interesting to notate and pick up because I had a concept for I wanted to be able to meander more, but one moment. Do you want to know how to look it up on your phone? I'm gonna do it on a big computer. 120, 1250. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Ryan's over there. He can help. All right, that's managed. So, um, yeah, I'd like to be more able to just kind of go where I please in this space, and that gives a lot more um, license to be more aggressive and taking some of this down. Because I feel, in some ways, uh, shackled to the concept that I want this path to be really enclosed in nature. But at the same time, I'm really annoyed whenever something brushes my head or my sides. I'm not opposed to squeezing through spaces like that, but I know some people might be. Um, so that's a project for the future. It's just going through and actually opening everything up. Um, Part of opening everything up is getting all the dead stuff out. So we will see. Um, I've been thinking a lot about iterative games like idle games. How your playthrough is pretty much the same every time, and you get a little stronger, so you can get a little further, or like you go through quicker. So having a similar concept here of like making the path a little bit nicer every time to extend the journey. So with that, it gives me the concept to wind the path more so that it can be a longer walk. That could be really interesting, and it kind of gives me more license to do more on these walks, like take these branches that I find out or actively like zigzag through paths so that I can like show more different angles and better um, see more of the property because that's what I want to do is see more of everything. It's kind of just one of those things where I want to get through. So, um, I spend a lot of time out here, and it's better every time. Like, it's impressive when nature makes giant strides and does something that I don't expect. But a lot of the time, it's creating your own world, and very few people have that opportunity. So I'll revel in it. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm really happy that nature gets to be doing what it is, and I get to be part of it. Um, so it's really interesting just how strong water is, and it It kind of goes. Some people don't realize it. Other people are very aware of it. Like anyone who's dealt with a flood or tsunami or the ocean knows it's very strong. But it gets forgotten about in more northern places and spaces that don't really interact with flooding all that much. So going from a drought to going to flooding is always interesting, and it's wild to see what just rain can even do, let alone snow or other things. So let's get that down. Nice. Good break. Um, I'm kind of meandering off to through these paths that are getting more and more definition now, and they're going to continue to get more definition. Um, One of the key things happened there, which might not be easy said. When you've got something in your offhand and you're trying to get it around you, it's easier to just spin than try to bringing it up and over you. So the other key thing is to have all of the root ends uh, going this way. I had something in my boot, probably a thorn from the hawthorn trees. They're ridiculous. So it's important to take care of that kind of stuff then and there. Um, I absolutely did tear up my foot. It's impressive, but I'll I've taken care of myself, even though it's better video if I can, suffer through the pain for the rest of the walk. It's not great for me. So there's a lot of times in society and everything where we'll bear through a situation and take pain for others' comfort, even though it doesn't bother them that much. Like, I imagine y'all don't care all that much that my boot flew off and then I hit it a couple times. Doesn't do anything. Don't. So, with this new fervor of being able to do stuff, I decided to take this off, or at least like beat it up a little bit so it's not directly in my face as I'm walking by it. But I can't quite get it off here, but that will change when I come back with the tool. So a lot of this is just like little changes, little bits here and there. I do some work on this, but at the same time, it's still stuck, just completely wrecked and wrapped with poison oak. So there's more hawthorn. And just clearing through these paths. It's kind of good that I do all this in this week to next because I end up doing a lot more with these. So it's nice to get a better concept of like what's going on prior. There's okay, everything looks okay. Um, it's always interesting that most of this work is not hard. There's not a lot of like you need X amount of strength or X amount of know-how or any of that. There's just a lot of pick up this thing or move this thing, and that fixes so much. Like, a lot of it is just iterative. Like, you just have a lot to do, a lot of small tasks, which I find really lovely in games when they just give you a ton of small tasks that feel good and rewarding, and like you notice there is noticeable change when you're done with them. Um, here's exactly what I'm talking about. I just cut this from its roots so I could see that that poison oak is dying. Great. It's still very reactive, even if it's dead, but it just means there won't be more there. So, um, I love these grapevines, but as you'll notice, I was kind of like doing a bit of like, just grab stuff while I'm walking. But every now and again, I actually have to do something to get the bit off. Because 99% of the time when I grab something, I know it's dead. So I could tell that that one was broken, but it just hadn't come all the way down yet. So moving more and more up makes the back look better and better, and we can get rid of the stuff that we don't need or use the wood for different things. Um, so it's really wild that it's not like an intensive skill check here and there. That you don't need to be the best or strongest or wisest to do a lot of the work that I've been doing. And that's really it's really helpful for anyone who wants to get into this kind of thing or sees all of the work that I'm doing and thinks that it's such a big project. And it is, but it's a big project made up of tiny, tiny projects. Like pick up that stick and move it to a spot where it can get taken care of. So it's incredibly iterative, and I'm a big fan of that. When um, a project doesn't need to be like a super huge undertaking that's incredibly skillful and that you have to be the best for. Because what I'm doing, anyone could do. And having my friend over to like see and do some of the work really enforces that, because this is the kind of habitat that we're meant to be in, at least at some level. So it's always great to get back to it. It's great to be in it. It's so amazing, like how different things are from week to week. Like you wouldn't expect nature to change that quickly, but it does. So some of the things that I focus on, I don't know are going to be different next week. I don't know. There's no way to know that the creek's going to flood through, and there's stuff that I'm going to want to reference from previous week that I can't. So, yeah. Um, and as a bonus, last time I moved all the bones into there, but we're actually going to skip out on that because I did a lot this week. Bam. Getting better at that. All right. Got my cam hat on. We are at yesterday at this point. So my knowledge of what I did isn't going to be exactly clear. You can kind of see my poor devastated car over there. Still broken to shit. Um, Still looking for a new one. So I cleaned this path up. That's all nice now. Because I was a little upset last time with how high the grass was, but we get over here and bam, we got water. Like, what the heck? It's great. It hasn't been running in months. Get the actual, like, waterfall action here. I had mentioned that I wanted to make a path, so I took this way, and that will be a path I can take in the future, and then we can come back through this way. So that'll be good. That'll be a nice change for this little section because this little section gets the most view. Getting a pass both ways, not great. I prefer to show more. So I'm going to try to do that. But we've got the water actually like stamped down the grass here and is making its own path. So you could see just the level of storm surge we got here. Super wild. Like, I absolutely want to follow that up and trench that out a little bit better so that it can stay in its lane when it does surge over. I think that'd be a lot better for everything involved. Although it is really cool to see when just all the plant life gets trod down by water. You can hear some of the waterfall. I forget if I check it. I feel like I almost don't. Yeah. But just like so much to do, so much to see. So, just like seeing all of the. I'm seeing this for the first time when I'm going out because the Tuesday, none of this water was here. So, this is a surprise to me too. So, you're getting almost like a reaction style thing of like, wait, where'd the fuck the bridge go? My audible sigh and like, well, I have to fish that out of the creek later on. So I'm keeping a close eye on like, all right, where to get stuck. So I can better have an idea of like where I need to dive in and get through. Also, this fell over. So that happened. Gonna have to clean that up at some point, but don't need to right now. They're so good. I love my crows. Alright. So I found the bridge. It's down here. Yeah. There's another piece further up. But at least getting that out so stuff doesn't accumulate there. Great start. Really happy that I made this section because I can actually get back here now. So yeah, like getting that at least over a little bit more is helpful. And I'll have to come back through there at some point to pick that up. So no big deal. just just the weather doing what it wants and the creek saying no bridge, not like that. So I'll have to make it higher or something. Might have to like raise it up instead of trying to set it in, which is annoying, but I'll manage. I did a bunch of work over here, so I'm gonna make a quick right. And this section's a little bit more cleaned out. Got the ability to stand a little bit taller, so we can actually push through here. Still just kind of like not quite sure what's different all the time. So I'm trying to be looking at everything and just the water is flabbergasting. Just having been dry for so long, you kind of forget when it's fully saturated where all the waterways are. So there was a something downed over here as well that I noticed that I couldn't quite highlight, but it plays into that eventual more meandering situation where there's less path and more just open space. Um, I kind of uh, half remember that I should check on my other bridges here because, yeah, they're a little wrecked at this point. Water. It is absolutely not my element, but can at least maneuver some of this stuff back to where it needs to be. And even though like that might look heavy, it's just bulky. Like all of the weight is at the end. Just kind of readjusting, making sure everything can look okay. This one is a little wrecked, but let's just kind of get this into a better position. I was whistling all the way through this walk as well. Just had a couple of different themes stuck in my head. All right, well, that's better. It's not great, but it'll manage for now. um, so, yeah, I'm happy with how this is all coming through. I kind of missed my path in, which isn't a great thing because that means my path in is not as obvious as I'd like. So that needs more editing. This area is so nice. I absolutely want to do more with it, but it's, you know, more for later. It's interesting to be so close to the property line. Um, there's a very vague path. When I was working through here, they were picking the grapes. So I wonder if I'm achieving cryptid status, which is something that all people in our generation strive for. As um, it's just nice to be the like legend of some little kid's story or just like infatuation for a day or so. Because it could be like, you know, saw a ghost in the woods. It was making all this noise. Maybe they thought it was a bear or like giving me and my clothes. More likely, like some rogue figure. But this is different. I can't quite tell how, but the key point is to not get too wrapped up in the how it's different, and just that it is different. And if it's still okay, that's okay. And just kind of working and adapting with nature. So yeah, I feel really good about some of the work I did out here. Um, a little bit of a fake out as some of this is nature doing its thing. Um, yeah, but you can kind of see some of the wood piles are getting quite large from upgrades and taking stuff out. So that's some of the processing, taking the sticks and whatnot that were over here. Um, Continuing like nicening up the paths out because they're some of the most important, as they give me the ability to get the trees and brush out. Um, find that to be one of the more important aspects, is having a path to uh, take these things and get them clear so that the path can look nice. So that's a new path that just got built. Um, it hinges right up to that briar patch. So I'm just going to duck back into a different path that was getting a little bit more love lately. So these can all come through. And like I said, some of it's just picking up sticks, taking the clippers to some of the stuff in the way. So this space has improved a lot. I can kind of tell. And just in general, being able to be more just the open nature of everything makes it so much easier to traverse. That's just having the goal expand has really changed this plan a little bit. So to be able to kind of press through these different spaces and reclaim a lot of the land that's been just eaten by all these little garbage trees. Although I do, as much as I enjoy being able to like weave in and out of everything, I do kind of like the idea of a tree line that blocks these different sections. So like having the in the woods be very clear versus the like clean open paths. And I'm not quite sure how to square that, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually. Because I want enough canopy. Like, I still want some nice big trees. I want the ability for like shade underneath it. But at the same time, I want to tear down a lot of these little shitty trees that are just like thanks to the birds. Like, they're not doing all that well out here. Like they're doing something obviously as they're growing, but they have to contort in different ways to try to find sun, and it doesn't always work for them. So, uh, not to be Thanosy, but cutting down some of the life so that it works better can work out. I had heard this waterfall, but I hadn't like actively checked it out. So it's time to do the thing where it's like pathfinding. So I went that way. There wasn't a great angle or view. So let's try the other side of the path. Because these are different spots that I've worked on. And this is where I fixed the bridge earlier. As you can see, you can get that. But yeah, get a little bit more waterfall. Yeah. So there was a lot to do in the past week. I did clip that. Um, so that was great. Happy to have that reference that was one of the things that got done. Um, and the sticks don't always go to piles. Sometimes they get put into the ground to further firm it up and hopefully decompose into more dirt, um, so that the path can be a little bit nicer. You can very clearly. Oh, this was very Fey trap. Like, hold on. I wanted to highlight this because this is just so weird when this happens. Like, just an apple hanging out on the tree. Do not take. That's a trap. uh, but it's interesting to think of the Fae and the land as not malevolent, but just as a tricksy spirit, as something that's living and doing and having all of these different critters and bits in them. You can only imagine how wild the spirits are that inhabit, that house all of these weird and wild creatures. So, also really happy with the actual pathing, seeing that it's wearing down. That's helpful, especially like to minimize the amount of trimming that needs to get done on it. But at the same time, um, also just for like walking through it, it's nice to have clear pathing. And I'm just lamenting the loss of the loss of my bridge here. So I wasn't gonna check it, but I kind of wanted to check like from that side. I think I'm just gonna better view the waterfall here. Get a nice little bit of audio. Yeah. Yeah. Just me trying to remember, like, oh yeah, I wanted to like showcase this area a little bit more since we're hitting same paths and whatnot. Um, can spot more of those little like down tree branches and whatnot, and actually like get over because I actually cleared through this path this time rather than just trudging through it. So it's an actual path now. So yeah, that was a lot. I'm really happy with everything I got done. It was. It felt like a busy week. Um, it's exciting for sure to have all this get done. So, yeah, here's to another week. Here's to the end of September. We move into October and a more thorough fall. But yeah, like just super excited for water levels to be a lot higher than they were. Not having to worry about drought is nice. Um, yeah. So nothing really special at the end here. Um, just trying to like further grasp like the water just everywhere. So nice, so different. I did clear through this path as well. Just before the video, having seen that the water was back. So, yeah. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you for being part of this journey. Um, I'm really happy to be doing more of this. There's lots more to do, but we'll get there. There's always time and effort and things to be done. So until next time, remember to check out Twitch, and that'll be in the YouTube down below, or my YouTube. Helps if I spell it correctly. Right there. Both are at Bronwyn Kenku. So until next time, have a glorious day. Hope you can feel good about the little things you can do, and be well.